Holden getting underneath. Maltz, great catch by Bernhardt. Score! Hello, highlight reel.
Play like a champion today. Notre Dame with its first title in men's lacrosse.
Welcome back, our loyal fans of college lacrosse game day. As you can tell, this is Brett talking. Dan, our fearless and loyal host, he's breaking necks and cashing checks somewhere down in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina region. He's on the road, so I'll be doing a mediocre job here guiding us through. For today, we're going to recap, talk a bit about the tournament, some great games to go over as well coming up. I think we're going to keep this pretty free-flowing. Moving forward, let's do it. I'm Brett.
I'm Mike.
I'm Hayden.
Let's go. Yeah, so, I feel like we could go a couple different directions. I guess we'll just start with the elephant in the room. No upsets.
Yeah, no upsets. All 8 seeded teams won, so I guess we'll just run through the scores. You probably already know them by now. Start on Saturday. Virginia beat St. Joe's. I had St. Joe's making the upset. Didn't happen. Duke took care of Utah, won 19-7. Denver beat Michigan, 16-11. That was our game of the week. I think that one was up in the air. Maryland beat Princeton, 16-8, maybe proving that, there shouldn't have been more Ivies. Then going on to Sunday, Hopkins beat Lehigh, 13-10. Georgetown beat Penn State, 12-9. Notre Dame had a close one with Albany, winning 14-9. And Syracuse beat Towson 20-15 in the last game of the weekend. So, like Brett said, all 8 seeded teams won.
Sound like you got a little frog in your throat.
Yeah, you're all right over there, right?
You sick?
Maybe drink some water or something, dude. But
sorry, is that better?
I think he's ripping Jewel.
Yeah,
That's
who knows
why.
what he's doing?
No.
But
I'm leaning back.
I can't believe there wasn't a single upset. And when you look at stats from like previous years, it was like 7-1, 6-2, like at least one.
We were expecting probably out of the list, probably Towson, right? That was kind of the fan favorite, probably to be
St.
upset.
Joe's was probably a fan favorite. Michigan, that's an upset. Not really. Princeton beating Maryland. I had Princeton in my Final Four. I had Michigan in my Final Four.
Did you guys watch the Michigan game?
Yeah.
It was like about as inconsistent as a team could be in a big moment.
But
Yeah.
they were so hot. They dominated the Big Ten tournament.
They were hot coming in.
They beat a Maryland team a lot too little in the semis, and then they beat a really good Penn State team a lot too little, and then they just get absolutely smacked by Denver.
It was like...
I also think that people kind of forgot about Denver. Like, you watch them in the first couple of weeks of the season. They're on ESPN. And then they kind of go into the next 80% of their season, and you don't watch them very much. And they're kind of a quiet team. They play the Big East, but, their only big games are Georgetown, really. They kind of take care of everybody else. And I think people kind of forgot about Denver. And they surprised Michigan. And Michigan was on everybody's radar as being one of those hot teams that just won the Big Ten tourney. They were playing really well. They thought they could make a run, but Denver is just Denver, and what they do is consummate up there.
Speaking of consummation, right, I think it was just the coaching was a big difference. Mm-hmm. They go up 7-1 in the first quarter. Michigan's on their heels pretty much the rest of the way. I think they got it within like 11-8 or something, and I was feeling pretty good. But they just dominated. They're great out of the box, subbing. They had this kid, Richie Connell. He looked like he's like a linebacker.
They got some big boys. They got some big boys.
Unstoppable.
And I was going to say we probably forgot about Denver throughout the year because we couldn't watch half their fucking games.
Yeah,
because of the Denver streaming
big
broadcast
reason.
bullshit. But they lost to a good Villanova team in the semis by 1 goal. So good for them. They're going to be a fun team to watch. They celebrate hard. They play for one another. They're a good team. They got some big boys.
And they're very well balanced too.
Very well balanced.
Totally.
They're kind of one of the only teams left in the field that doesn't have the superstar or the 2 or 3 superstars. They have, JJ Silshop obviously and Michael Lampert who were on the show, but those are the guys we knew at the beginning of the season. But guys like Mick Kelly and Josh Carlson and Casey Wilson, just all guys who contribute, and they're a real team, and that's what gets you far in May. And yes, they don't have a guy that they can rely on to, confidently score a goal, but they have 6 guys in the field who can all score goals and who can all do that and work together to win a game like this. So Denver's a scary team, and especially in May, they've been in the national championship, they've been in the Final Four, they know what they're doing.
They've won it.
Exactly. Yeah, they've won it. It is Matt Brown's first NCAA tournament win, so as a head coach, but
Congrats, Matt Brown.
they know what they're doing in Denver. So
They do. How about the Albany Notre Dame game?
Yeah,
I watched.
I was gonna go to
I
that.
watched that start to finish, and I couldn't believe Albany was keeping up the way they did. They looked really impressive against a good Sacred Heart team, who is coming out of the MAC. But I mean, they looked really well. They're a fun team. They literally just. Somebody tweeted, it was like, Notre Dame scout team must be so excited that they got Albany, because they're literally probably like, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
They just all BTBs between the legs. Like, it works for them. Like, it's a functioning, it's like functioning chaos. But they held Notre Dame in check for most of that game.
Is that like Silas Richmond? That
Silas
big-
Richmond,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dude, he's like behind the back, easy,
Everything.
all around, lanky,
And then,
tall.
of course, Pacino's probably the most fun defender to watch in
yeah.
college cross in recent memory.
Yeah.
So, that was a cool one.
Graydon Hogg is healthy, and he's a Team Canada player. He's a very
Yeah,
good
yeah.
player. That would have been
45, right?
Yep, that
Okay.
would have been fun if Albany upset Notre Dame.
That would have been real fun.
Not just to see Albany for another week, but it also would have evened the playing field. I think looking at the games upcoming, it is a very even field, and I think you could say that Notre Dame is a favorite. They probably are, but they just played Albany tight. Now they play Georgetown, the only team they lose to. So it would have been fun if Albany won, because then it would have been really, really balanced, and you wouldn't have that. I wouldn't call Notre Dame a clear favorite, but I think they definitely are the favorite going into this weekend.
What about Maryland absolutely smacking Princeton? Do you think Maryland just has their number? Because they beat Princeton every time they play them. But
Maryland in May. It's Maryland in May.
Princeton is a really good team who is similar to Michigan, really hot. Ran through the Ivy League, which, although they didn't make it at large wise, I mean, those are some really good teams. That's a hard conference to win. Yeah. And then they just get pummeled by Maryland. It wasn't even close. That game wasn't even close. There was not a minute of that game that Princeton was really in it outside like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, Princeton didn't lead in that game. I actually heard a crazy stat on another podcast, but. So Princeton and Maryland.
You're not going to say what it was.
I won't say it, but Princeton and Maryland have played since 2015. They played 7 times. Not for a second has Princeton led in any one of those games. So Maryland owned Princeton.
Yeah.
And what they were doing, Urksa got hurt, but he was running through the box. They put Spanos down at attack, and they look like a different team. They look like Maryland.
McNaney's balling. They sit behind a good goalie and a good defense.
Yep. And
just
Luke,
atypical Maryland lacrosse.
Luke Weirman is
Luke Weirman,
fantastic
control
photo.
Possession battle.
Yeah. Maryland looks really good, and I think they put all the doubt that they should have been in the tournament and should have been the 7th seed or whatever. They put that to rest, because they're a team that deserves to be in it.
They put it to rest.
They've deserved to be in it for the last 21 years in a row.
Yep.
But they're just one of those teams where it's that conversation of like, oh, if this team got in at large, they could win it all. Maryland, if you put Maryland in the tournament, there's no why can't they win it all? What'd you say? Maryland May?
No, yeah.
Maryland in May?
May.
Should make a T-shirt.
Yeah.
May, Maryland.
Maryland,
Did Urksa just walk out of the hospital with the ice pack and just kind of just
Looked fast as shit.
Stumble into practice?
He looked good.
And then another one too, a fan favorite was a lot of people had St. Joe's UVA circled, because a lot of people,
Meaning you.
meaning me, I'm an A10
And
fan.
myself.
And definitely you. He had St. Joe's going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But
You almost took it back.
I did. I did take it back.
a lot of UVA was another team similar to Maryland where people were like, should they be in? Did they have enough quality? It was quality wins with UVA. They really haven't beaten anyone great. And they go in. St. Joe's is one of the hottest teams in the country. I think it was 11 wins in a row, 12 wins in a row. They win the A10. And they just couldn't compete with UVA.
I really enjoyed watching St. Joe's in that game, because in that broadcast, if you were to turn that on if anybody were to turn that on and the team names were blocked out, you would have been like, these are two of the best teams in the country. Like St. Joe's.
It was physical.
St. Joe's looked like an ACC team. Like their size.
They're one of the bigger teams.
Yeah, they had new jerseys. They looked like an ACC team on that broadcast. Obviously, Virginia played really well. Peyton Cormier had a day.
Yeah.
Virginia's just
8 goals for Peyton Cormier.
My father said before the game, he looked at me and he goes, watch Peyton Cormier in this game. He's going to be the difference maker. And I said, all right, shut up, Steve. And he had like 7 goals.
Shut up, Steve.
Yeah. I don't know. Virginia is just another team that is scary in May. I think, this is their chance to win it. They have, a senior heavy team of guys who have been there and fallen a game or two short. They also have the experience. They won it in 2019, was it? Schellenberger won it his freshman year. So, they know what it's like to get there, and this is their last chance to do it. So
pretty good chance there's an ACC championship.
Yeah, let's tap into Penn State because we didn't really talk about them. What happened to Penn State?
What do you think, Brett? Because obviously you bring this question up. I'm sure you have some pretty solid thoughts.
Yeah,
about.
I mean, I obviously have a couple buddies who had made the transition from Division III to Division I. They've said nothing but the best about their process. I know they're close to a couple stars in that team. TJ Malone specifically. I just think they played his matchup really well when I saw him. I feel like people were just all over his hands, under his little sleeved elbow pads, giving him mayhem. I feel like he couldn't really get comfortable, and they started relying on some of those quicker middies to make shit happen, for a better lack of phrase, and I think it just ended up being a sort of a rushed game for them, and they looked uncomfortable.
Yeah. I was surprised about Penn State because, they were a goal away from going to the championship last year. They brought back pretty much everybody, and they were a team that was poised to get there. They knew what they had to do, but it says a lot about Georgetown. I think Georgetown is playing super good lacrosse right now. I think Coach Kevin Warren is an underrated coach.
I think I'd want to play for him out of
I do
any
too.
of these pools.
And you look at him on the sideline, he's wearing different stuff than everybody, but his team buys into it.
Intense.
And, he's intense. He's enthusiastic. He's in the game. Guys want to play for him, and they're playing a team that they beat already in Notre Dame, and I don't know, we could see Georgetown in the Final Four. And that's kind of crazy to say because I think early on in the season, I did not think Georgetown was going to have a good year.
Nobody did.
They were young. They lost the first 2 games of the year, and since then they've been on a hot streak, and they're a solid team, right? You think about Aiden Carroll, and he was first team All Big East, but you also forget about guys like Graham Bundy and Vardaro, and they just have guys all over the field that are PLL players, first, second round draft picks, and have been there forever. So Georgetown is a scary team, and I think people have slept on them a little bit. So this game against Notre Dame is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So lastly we got Towson Syracuse. We kind of breezed over in the beginning, but what did you guys see from that game? I know Hayden, we watched it together. I want to leave it to you first. I could just kind of run through what you saw in the Dome. Yeah. It was a fun game. Towson plays fast. Towson has a strong defense. I think the story going into that game was that Towson has, statistically one of the best defenses in the country. I think it's hard to stop Syracuse when they're playing in the Dome. You can't let up 20 goals and expect to win, but I was very impressed with Towson. Mikey Weishar, who, who's kind of flown under our radar. He was named a first-team All-American at halftime, and he delivered. I don't know how many goals he had, but really deceptive player for
small
sure.
attack.
First team All-American?
Yep, first team All-American.
I thought he was a midi.
He was a midi. First team
Zero?
All-American midi. Yeah. Number 1, actually.
1? Okay.
So he had 3 goals. He was a stud. I think the Towson goalie didn't have his best game.
It's tough. It's tough in the Dome, man. The lights, it's a different atmosphere.
I don't know what the score was, but there was one play where he kind of went airborne to cover somebody. They were down 3 goals. I don't know what he was thinking. They just kind of pissed it away. I did take Towson +4. Yeah. And I was feeling pretty good about that going into the fourth quarter. And they just kind of pissed it away. I don't know if it was coaching but that play specifically, I was like, this is not going to go well.
That's just playing into Cuse in the Dome. It becomes a literal piss fest.
Yeah.
It's
And
just 20-15 is a score that you get when you play into Cuse's game in the Dome.
Yeah.
It's just what, I've seen it too many times. It's like it's what happens. Like,
Yep.
it's tough. That's a tough first round away game for any team.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate for Towson as well, which we were talking about earlier. That quarterfinal, quarterfinal is at Towson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
It just says Towson, Maryland, so I'm assuming it's at Towson.
Yeah, which sucks for Towson, but Cuse is a good team. They're another AC team that we could see in the Final Four, that we could see in the championship. You never know. And then I guess moving on, another one we didn't talk about, Hopkins, Lehigh.
Yep.
And that one was looking like Lehigh might take it for a lot of the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it on paper, it's the closest game. So,
Yeah, I don't know. Hopkins, Lehigh played him tight. I think we knew that was going to be a pretty low-scoring, tight game, just the way Hopkins has played teams all year and more recently than not, too. But Matt Collison is a beast.
He's so good.
He's big, Canadian lefty, midfielder, but can play both hands. He is a beast. And then, Jacob Angelish, Pechko, all guys who are bought into Hopkins lacrosse. They're moving in the right direction, and I think that was an impossible game for Lehigh to win. I knew it was going to be close, but Hopkins is Hopkins. This is their year. This is like the best chance they've had since those 2008, 2009 championships.
yeah, I mean, we've been pretty impressed about Lehigh. I feel like they've gotten some good airtime on the show so far, but they come up a little bit short. I want to take a segue here and just talk a little bit about Division III, if you're up for it, Hayden.
Sure.
Some shockers, starting with St. Lawrence falling to St. John Fisher, who had a crazy win over Wesleyan to start. But I love to talk about the pool for a second and kind of who's coming out.
Yeah, we haven't really had a chance to talk about the D3 tournament this far, but I'll kind of give a little bit of a rundown. So the opening round, there weren't very many upsets. I think the biggest upsets were Union losing to Stevenson in a tough game. I watched that game. It was a tough game for Union. I think they had chances that they would have liked back, but Stevenson's a good team, and you got to give hats off to them. They come from Maryland. They show up ready to play, and they gave Union a game I don't think they were expecting. So obviously a tough loss for Union, but a hell of a season and an unbelievable career for a lot of those guys who are graduating. So tough one. I know they wish they had it back, but that was one of the bigger upsets of the first round. Another one was Swarthmore beat Endicott. That wasn't as much of an upset, but I thought Endicott was a team that could win a couple games.
Isn't Swarthmore having like a really good season this year? Now?
Yeah, they are good. They're senior heavy. They're a good team. A couple other games. St. John Fisher beat Wesleyan in the first round, which was actually probably the biggest upset of the first round.
Yeah.
Wesleyan hosted. They won the NESCAC. St. John Fisher kind of flew under the radar. Lost a lot of games this year, but obviously won their conference tournament. And then they went on to surprise SLU in the second round, which we'll get to. But from the first round, those were kind of the games that were competitive in the first round. A lot of the first round games, it's a lot of higher seeds playing lower seeds, and
that's what happens
the teams
with Division
III.
That's just kind of the way
I guess
it goes.
one other good game from that first round was Babson beat Denison. Babson's did have a great year. It was good to see them get a tournament win over a good Denison team. And then moving on to the second round is where you see some really good matchups. Brett just touched on it. St. John Fisher beat St. Lawrence 11-10 to move on to the Elite Eight. Brett, I don't know if you want to touch on that game. What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple people with boots on ground. I think it was really just not executing when it mattered. I think there was a lot of pipes. I think the goalie play on the other side was pretty good as well. And I think they struggled to kind of turn it on when they needed to. I think you kind of get lulled into those games. I think St. John Fisher is just one of those teams where if you kind of stick around with them and you sniff and you don't just go get after them and just start playing, offensive-minded, good lacrosse, moving the ball, right, getting the ball backside, general, those types of looks. I just don't think that was happening. I think they were getting unlucky I looked at the stat sheet. Judge Murphy and Ben Hutchinson, both of our guests, I think were, 2 of 3 people that actually had stats on the offensive side of the ball. So they relied really heavily on them.
Yeah, that's a tough loss for them. Unbelievable season. They kind of swept the Liberty League awards. Coach Mahoney was named Liberty League Coach of the Year. One of the best seasons they've had in a long time, probably since 2016 when they went to the Final Four.
How many Liberty League teams are left?
So we'll get to that. So there's only one.
Worry, it's coming.
There's only one left. But I guess
impatient.
the other big score from the weekend was Bowdoin beating RPI 12-5. RPI was the 2 seed in the tournament. Bowdoin is a team that I've watched a couple times this year, and they are very, very good. Will Byrne is a beast, number 6 on the attack. Matt Ward is another attackman.
Didn't Will Byrne just set the single season point record?
Yeah, I think at Bowdoin. I think he did.
Post about that.
But Bowdoin's a really tough team. They got a great face-off guy. Matt Ward is another attackman I mentioned, LS guy who is a stud and playing really well right now. A really hot goalie, a couple great defensemen. They're a team that surprised RPI. I think RPI was kind of a favorite to go to the Final Four. They just had to get through Bowdoin. But tough loss for RPI. They had a great season, and it's good to see Bowdoin moving on. It kind of seems like a long time due for them. They're a team that could very well go to the Final Four, and they'll have to beat RIT to get to the finals, but it's not completely out of the cards for them. So that's a team to watch out for. I guess looking at these upcoming games, so we're down to 8 teams. The 4 games this weekend are, I guess the 2 hosts are RIT and Salisbury. So Christopher Newport plays RIT in the first round of the Elite 8. Middlebury plays Bowdoin in the first round at RIT.
That's going to be a great game.
For Salisbury, they play Washington and Lee, and then Tufts goes down to Salisbury and plays St. John Fisher. So I think the South region is kind of clear to see. You would expect Salisbury to beat Washington and Lee, and you'd expect Tufts to beat St. John Fisher. And then they'll play the next day to go to the national championship. That game is completely up in the air. Tufts is obviously a great team. Salisbury has been number 1 all year long, but they don't play the strength of schedule that Tufts does. So it seems like we see this every year. Tufts Salisbury playing at some point. That was the final last year. So it's a rematch of the final, probably in the Final Four.
Does that irritate you as a Division III player that the same teams are playing in the national championship back to back?
I think it's just a testament to culture. They're not also playing in the national championship. They're playing in the Final Four, so one of them will make it. It's that's why they're the best. That's why they're there.
I have a question as a D3 more so spectator than you two guys.
Yeah.
What were for each of you, what was the biggest surprise so far for each of you in this tournament? Do you guys have one? And if not, my next question is who do you believe is the favorite of who's left to win?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say my biggest surprise was Stevens beating Union. But then after that, I would say...
Sounds personal. I
would say it's probably St. John Fisher beating SLU and making it to the Elite 8, winning against Wesleyan and St. Lawrence.
It's easy for me. I mean, it's like Hayden came in and was like, oh, you see Wesleyan lost to St. John Fisher. I was like, yeah. It's like they're playing St. Lawrence. I was like, nah, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. And it bit me in the ass. They're a solid team, good program. Coach, I'm sure, has been there forever, right? And that's kind of a team where you can rally around it. I mean, what do they got to lose, right?
Yeah.
Just a reminder to everybody to like and follow the podcast, also to get us on social, on X and Instagram as well. We're gonna take a little break.
Wait, let me just touch on the RIT Christopher Newport game.
Yeah.
So I think RIT will probably win that, and then Bowdoin plays Middlebury at RIT. Hoping Bowdoin wins that game. Hope we see RIT and Bowdoin in the Final Four. Would love to see Bowdoin get to the finals. A lot of good friends on the team, and they're a program that's deserving of it. Obviously, RIT is a bar in Division III, so it's going to be a tall task for the Polar Bears, but I would love to see them in the final.
And then real quick, you guys didn't answer the second part of my question. Who do you think is going to take it right now with who's left?
My pick
early prediction.
My pick is RIT.
Okay, I think Salisbury is going to take it.
All right, cool.
Because I don't want RIT to win.
All right,
cool.
All right, taking a break. Thank you.
Hello?
Dan, how are you?
Hey, good. How we doing, fellas?
Doing good.
Is that my fearless leader, Dan?
Thanks for calling in. Where are you, Dan?
I'm just popped up to my hotel room. Stepped out of the awards dinner, which for me was just free cocktails and a little snooze. But yeah, no,
Did you get any awards?
Yeah. What were you nominated for?
no. I thought I had a shot at impact player, but I was not even in the finalist conversation.
You're the MVP in our eyes, brother.
You got
thanks,
you got
fellas.
the male podcaster of the year.
That's
College
right.
Game Day Awards.
Male lead podcaster.
Emmy.
male lead lacrosse podcast host of the year.
It's a big one,
The
Dan.
fuck do you guys do after work? I should have said to the room. You guys live?
We are.
We're live, Dan.
We are.
Sweet.
You joined us at a great time. We're about to hop into some of these games coming up.
These juicy games.
I hope I'm not flushing you, Dan, but I'd love to talk a bit about Notre Dame at Georgetown, the rematch. This is at noon, and it is at Hofstra again. They're hosting another big game.
What a stadium.
I think Notre Dame played Cornell there, right?
No, that was out of high school.
That was at a high school. It was
Oh, really?
No, Notre Dame played Cornell at LIU.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mixing up the Long Islanding.
Not to be confused with the high school LIU stadium. That's
Yeah.
It's a good
yeah,
stadium.
it is. It is. But I'll just share some of my thoughts as I overlook the beautiful city of Charlotte, which is just a privilege to be in. Wouldn't say it's a hotbed, but there's some players out here.
Any Carolina Chaos fans down there?
No, there's some old. Who was the Charlotte team in the MLL?
Charlotte Hounds.
The Hounds, yeah.
The Hounds. Yeah, you remember Quint Kesnick banging the drum on the way down to his trick shot championship. That's if anyone, yeah, that's a classic clip. But no, just to talk about Notre Dame for a second. I don't think I was the only one who was impressed by the Dane train in the game against Notre Dame. I mean, they were. I mean, I'm sitting in the. It was Mother's Day too, so I'm eating dinner with the family, and then all of a sudden, Joe Beninati from the living room says, "Silas Richmond with a shot score." The Danes are within 2.
This is really great being on the other side, isn't it, Dan?
No, it's. I wish I was there, boys. I really do.
How
Sorry
do
about
you
this, boys.
how do you feel Notre Dame fares against Georgetown? Obviously, Georgetown was one of Notre Dame's only losses on the year. Do you think they can repeat it? We all know beating a team twice is very hard, especially a team like Notre Dame. But what are your thoughts, Dan?
Question for you guys. Did you feel like during the Albany game, it kind of felt like the Notre Dame Georgetown game a little bit, like home game for Notre Dame, like they're definitely going to win. Like there's no question, which was kind of the feeling when they played Georgetown earlier in the year. They were playing slow, making stupid mistakes. Like I thought Notre Dame looked really complacent against Albany, which scares me for this game coming up against Georgetown. It's really tough to beat a team twice in a year. Anyone who played in a competitive conference knows that. If you're playing, doesn't matter who you're playing twice. Any team is tough to beat twice, specifically if it's Notre Dame, the number one team in the nation.
Yeah. I think that's a good comparison. I think it also kind of shows that Notre Dame took Georgetown when they first played them a little bit lightly, and I think they probably took Albany a little bit lightly too. I think they saw that they were playing Albany, the winner of the play-in game, and they were kind of like, you know what, we're gonna get through this round. We know we're gonna win. Let's just show up and do it. And like I know that's not the Notre Dame mentality, but yeah, you're right. It did kind of feel like that Georgetown game where it was like, we don't really know what to expect from these guys, and obviously they're playing Notre Dame. They're gonna play hard, so. Yeah, I mean, I agree with your take that Notre Dame seemed a little bit asleep in that game, but going into this Georgetown game, I don't think they're losing twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might be right, but it's kind of scary because everyone and their mother has Notre Dame as a shoo-in in at least the Final Four, right? A lot of people have them winning the championship, so it is a little scary if you did see them play that way against Albany, and now they're playing a really hot Georgetown team who already beat them this year, found a way to beat them, and you have to think that, like Dan said, they're gonna they're going to watch the film from Albany and be like, let's just play the exact way that we did, because obviously it works against this team, if that is the case. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, extremely interesting. Next, we'll hop over to the Terrapins and Duke. This is kind of an iconic matchup here.
It is.
It is. Blue Bloods. Did you guys rank the games or talk about kind of your favorites?
I mean, they're all pretty
great
good.
games.
I think at
They're all
this
good.
point, you know what, Dan, we can do that at the end with you, but at this point, it just feels like they're all so even. You know, the first round was there's favorites and what may you have it, maybe some upsets, but none of these are upsets and none of these are like huge favorites.
Totally. That's just if you ask, like, what lacrosse jerseys do you have in your closet that you bought at a tournament when you were a kid? I mean, Maryland and Duke, that's probably, you're lucky. It's likely you're going to have a thread from one of those programs.
Remember those fiddlesticks where you can buy like the school?
Oh, yeah.
Like there was like North Carolina and like Maryland and Duke, like they were like the fiddlesticks, but they were like this color and they had the name on it.
Oh, yeah.
I think about those too. But yes, the Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I think it's going to be excellent.
A V shooter it was a V shooter and then a straight one.
Yep.
I think right over it. It's kind of this, almost making a K in the pocket if you turn the stick sideways. But no, one thing I want to say about this Terrapins program is I think we were all incredibly impressed with what they did against Princeton for the second time this year. I mean, you think about a team like Princeton, who just has so much to play for, and every Ivy League lacrosse fan is rooting for them. They want some validation, or Penn, Cornell, those fans want some validation. Hey, we should have been in the tournament. We can compete with these guys. And Maryland just says, "Fuck you guys." This is the big fucking 10. This is the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Maryland and how they changed some things up in their game against Princeton and how it really worked for them. And I think Coach Tillman is, a master at playing in May. He's done it for years now, and he knows what you have to do against these teams. I don't know if, he added those wrinkles just so Princeton wouldn't, be ready for them. But it's just a testament to Coach Tillman, but also his guys for buying in and adapting and kind of becoming a new team when these games, start happening with their backs against the wall.
Tillman fucking loves lacrosse, man. That guy is married to lacrosse.
He is. He's technically married to lacrosse. He has actual vows with the creator. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Another
following his footsteps.
Fun thing to watch here, Dan. I know you're going to be looking at this matchup. Ajax Zapatello on Brendan O'Neill. That's going to be a fun one.
Chills.
That'll be a fun one, won't it?
You
draw that up. That's your... Literally,
Dan has a hand-drawn picture of that over his bed.
You ever seen those YouTube videos, Lacrosse Film Room, where it was like matchups?
Yes.
It's literally that.
Yeah. It doesn't get any bigger.
It's top 10 PLL draft picks that will be going up against each other forever.
Yeah.
Who wins that matchup, Mike? I want your thoughts.
Ajax Zapatello will be taking that one, in my opinion. I think if you watch the way that he played against Coulter Mackesy in the first round, lights out, and the way that Maryland defense plays around him, and especially if you factor in Logan McNaney in the cage, saving some of those shots, I think that Ajax and the defense take that one, and I honestly think that they're going to beat Duke as well.
Yeah.
Who has gotten the best of Ajax this year?
Nobody. I think one of the best performances against him was Michael Bohm on Michigan. An underrated one, but the top matchups, he has won every single one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Big Ten games that, I didn't watch all of them, but like TJ Malone, Michael Boehm. Who's you go down the list. Rutgers he was probably guarding
Ross Scott.
Yep. Like I think O'Neill is just different athletically. Like it'd be interesting to see O'Neill just kind of put his head down and run at Ajax. Can he handle that? Whereas, it's not Spalina. It's not it's a different matchup physically. But I think Zap can win it. But no, I'm excited.
Yeah, Dan, do you want to stick around for the next two games, or do you have to run?
I got to get going soon here.
Okay. Give us your picks Your final 4 picks. I
Yeah,
guess.
give us the picks, Dan.
Notre Dame,
Yeah.
Georgetown. Who you got?
Notre Dame.
Duke, Maryland. Who you got?
Maryland.
Syracuse, Denver. Who you got?
Dude, that's just that is porn for a lacrosse fan.
It is. It totally is.
Oh, Hughes, Denver. Fuck. Where is that one at Hofstra? Or
No,
is
it's
that,
a Towson.
It's a Towson.
It's in Towson, Maryland.
You mean Denver?
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, Hopkins, Virginia.
You mean Hopkins. Sorry,
You there?
these are tough. Yeah, Hopkins.
All right,
I think we lost you,
You're
Dan.
taking Notre Dame, Duke, Denver, and Hopkins.
Yep. Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's, I'm
Notre Dame,
really
Maryland.
excited for lacrosse this weekend. To everyone in New York City, all our 20 New York City listeners, go to Hofstra, man. Go to those games. Go watch them. That's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I mean, you're not that far. Like it'd be well worth it for Saturday or Sunday, whenever those games are.
Yeah. Yep. They're on Saturday at Hofstra.
Yep.
Sunday at Towson.
Noon and
so.
2:30.
Noon 2:30.
Dan,
Correct.
we appreciate you hopping on. Get back to business.
Enjoy Charlotte,
Absolutely.
brother.
Hey, go have some cocktails and kiss some ass.
Thanks,
Smoke a
fellas. I'm
cigar
gonna-
or something.
Bring us some souvenirs back.
Want some hardware?
I'll ask these people if they watch the Mitchell Palkey show. See what they say.
All right. Good.
All right.
All right.
See you, Dan.
See you, fellas.
Cheers.
Thanks to Dan for jumping on. Good
Yeah.
takes from him. Good to hear his voice. I guess we'll jump into the Sunday games.
The Lord's Day.
Syracuse, Denver. What do we think here?
Like Dan said, man, if we're like going immediate to picks instead of just talking about these games, there's such toss-ups. Syracuse is now traveling. Denver's now traveling. They both just played at home. I guess all of these teams played at home, but those are both far trips, honestly. Cuse down to Maryland, and Denver obviously is always a far trip. But
There is a time change from Denver too.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
It's little. Doesn't make too big of a difference, but it is there.
Yeah. I'm more curious to see Syracuse play outside. I think we've seen them in the Dome a million times, and they look great in the Dome. It is a little bit of an advantage, I'd say. But Denver's a team that plays outside all year long. They play in the elements. This is going to be a perfect weather game, I'm assuming, hopefully. Actually, I don't know that. It might be raining. Who knows? But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if, Syracuse can play as fast as they're used to, can play as confidently as they're used to against a Denver team that is used to it,
And we don't really talk a lot about their defensive matchups. Maybe we talked about one poll for Denver.
I was about to say it'll be Jimmy Freehill
Okay.
on Spalina.
Yeah.
And Freehill was the defensive player of the year in the Big East.
Was it?
And that's over a lot of good defenders. Villanova had a draft pick. I'm blanking on his right now. The transfer from Ohio State. And then obviously Georgetown's guy, freshman. That's tough to win as a freshman. But Jimmy Freehill was the best defender in the Big East.
Yeah.
And he will be taking on one of the best attackmen in the ACC in the country. So that'll be fun. And I mean, you got to slow down Spalina if you want to slow down this Cuse offense. And obviously they have weapons all over the field. But one thing Denver has done well all year is limiting their opponents. It kind of comes down to if Denver's offense is going to click like it did against Michigan, which Michigan has a good defense as well. This is a team that can make a run to the Final Four. And obviously if Cuse plays the way they did in the Dome, I mean, they're going to be hard to stop as well.
Yeah. I think both these teams could make it to the Final Four. I think this is, possibly the game of the week. I just don't know which way it's going to go.
I agree.
You want to talk about Hopkins, Virginia, and then we'll do our picks?
Yeah, any thoughts on this? Because Hopkins beat UVA at UVA this year.
Yeah, it was like the
I think that
second
is
game or something.
Something very important to think about. I think we do also. Hopkins at that point was like the top team in the country. They kind of had a lag ever since, but still enough to make the tournament and win against a good Lehigh team. I mean, if UVA can play the way they played against St. Joe's and they can be firing on offense, I think UVA takes this game, but Hopkins has a way of making teams fit into their style and making it more of a half-field, lower scoring game with just really good defense and possession battle.
It's very tough to do with a team like Virginia, though.
So tough.
Because
it was a high-scoring game when they played, but Hopkins was the one who outscored UVA.
So maybe if they can kind of adhere to that pace, right? If they can get them playing in their kind of play style, it might be tough. I mean that main matchup is Scott Smith and Schellenberger.
Of course.
Yep, that's going to be a great matchup. Mike, I agree with you. I think Hopkins has done a really good job this year limiting their opponents. They play a really tough defense. They game plan really well. They always kind of seem like they know what's coming. With that said, I think if Virginia's scoring the ball and, maybe Chase Ireland isn't having a great game for Hopkins in net, I think I would like Virginia in this. But, it is important to remember that Hopkins beat UVA. I think UVA found their groove a little bit against St. Joe's. I thought they looked really sharp. If they have, their shooters shooting the ball and playing confidently and, kind of working for hard goals, hard-earned goals against this Hopkins defense, I think Virginia wins this game all day long. But with that said, Hopkins is very solid this year, especially on defense. So going to be a great matchup.
Great matchup, and we already said it before, but it's hard to beat a team twice.
Yep.
It is hard to beat a team twice. UVA is a good team. It's really hard to think that Hopkins can beat UVA twice in 1 year, especially the way UVA has played in the playoffs in the past 5 years, 6 years. So that's something else to think about.
Yep, definitely. Do we want to do our picks?
Let's do it. Let's do our picks.
All right, Brett. We'll start with you.
Saturday at noon, Notre Dame, Georgetown. Who we got, Brett?
I got Notre Dame, Fighting Irish.
I got Notre Dame as well.
I'll take Notre Dame.
I don't think they're going to lose again. The Jersey game.
Yep.
Maryland, Duke.
Who you got,
Jersey
Brett?
game, 2:30,
Saturday.
ESPNU. Who you got, Brett? Hofstra Stadium.
I had Maryland in the Final Four. I'm going to continue rolling with Maryland.
All right, I like Duke.
I think that's fair.
I think
I
they
like
beat them.
Duke.
I'm going to go Maryland.
Okay.
I'm going to go Maryland here.
I think it's a good pick, Mike.
All right, Sunday at noon.
Lord's Day.
Lax
noon,
porn.
ESPNU.
Syracuse, Denver. Game
Lax
of the week.
porn, according to our gracious host, Dan Ryan.
I can agree with him on that one.
It's a fun one.
I think Denver puts in a really good game plan. I think they take it from Syracuse.
Okay, I like Syracuse.
Give me Denver.
Oh, okay, you guys are on the same page, eh?
Me and Brett are feeling it, and I think I know who Brett's going to go with here, too. So I think I know who we're all going to go with here.
Yeah.
I think
2:30 p.m. ESPNU
You might be shocked.
in Towson, Maryland.
I think it's just they're going to have everybody's grandma at this game. I'm going Hopkins.
Hopkins?
I think the Blue Jays
Never
are going to
mind.
win.
Never
I
mind.
think the Blue Jays are going to win.
I thought we were a hive mind for a second, but
No.
we're
Me too.
No, and I knew that's what you were expecting.
Okay.
But
No, I like it.
I had
I like
Hopkins
it.
in the Final Four to begin with.
No, stick
and
with it. Don't change.
No, I think the entirety of Maryland is going to be there, and they're going to be cheering on the Blue Jays.
Oh, that's a good point. It is in Maryland.
Yeah.
But I like Virginia all day.
I just don't think Hopkins can beat UVA twice. Give me UVA.
All righty. There
Excellent.
it is. Is that it for today?
Yeah.
We keep it under 45 minutes.
I appreciate everybody hopping on, joining us. It's a little bit fragmented, but good to have Dan on there. And yeah, please like and follow again the podcast, us on social. Really looking forward to how this thing plays out. And thanks for sticking around the whole season.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hold in, getting underneath. Maltz, great catch by Bernhardt. Score! Hello, highlight reel.
Play like a champion.